Welcome to the Empowered Healers Podcast, a ceremonial space for the ones who remember. I am Songbird Grandmother, seer, guide, and voice for those walking the sacred path of spiritual leadership, ancestral healing, and divine prosperity. This isn't just a podcast, it's an initiation, a soul transmission, a return. If you are here, it's because your spirit called you. May this offering nourish your path, awaken your remembering, and call you deeper into the truth of who you are. Let us begin. So today's episode, I want to really call in the spiritual powers that have not only guided your feet, but have led you through every hardship, every bad relationship, every blessing, everything that you have went through that brought you into this deep ceremonial space. In the deepest ceremonies that I have been through, where we really go through the shadows to the light, to the true transformation, every ceremony began with a reminder that in order to walk this path and to be in this ceremonial space, you had to have done something so right to be deserving of this spiritual gift. And especially here in the West, where real spirituality is just emerging, it's a baby, it's an infant. It's hidden in the most remote and powerful places that the masses cannot enter. This is where spirit lives. This is where the ancient mother lives. She is in the backwoods, in the hogans, in the teepees, in the mud houses, spread all over the world. But here in the West, she has remained in the cave. And as we're going through this big transmission, this big transformation, this huge evolution, she is beginning to emerge out of a cave. And you have to remember that when you're ready to go deep into that cave and meet her where she is, that you had to have walked through the fire. You have had to have walked through the darkest parts of yourself. You had to have awakened the blood in your bones, the blood that connects you to this ancient power of your ancestors and lineage. And it is a power that when you walk through this ceremony, something within you stirs. Something within you remembers. Something within you emerges, and it changes you from the inside out. And for this episode 9, which is the completion of the first series of the Empowered Healers podcast, I want us to go back to what it really means to become an empowered healer and what you have truly gone through in order to emerge as an empowered healer. And the first part I want you to really think about as you're listening to this podcast is, what was my childhood dream? Before anybody told you anything, before you can remember what, school taught you, what your parents taught you, what your friends, your brother, sister, whatever influence you had as a child, what did you want? What did your dreams tell you? And when I ask people this question, the first response I always get is, well, I don't remember. I don't even remember. Or a lot of times the answer will be like, well, I just remember I wanted to connect with nature. I wanted to be in the trees. I wanted to be in the sun. I wanted to be somewhere alone in the forest. Or some people will remember, I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be an actress. I wanted to be a teacher, a doctor. But after this podcast, I would like you to sit and journal and really meditate and think about, what was your childhood dream? What did you see for humanity? What did you want for other people? What type of child were you? Because it's time to really go back and to embody that medicine. Because that is your first medicine. That is your lineage. That is your ancestors. That is your blood. That is your bones. And when we can really go back to who we are, the original, authentic self, that's the power. That's the power. That's your healing code. That's your ancient gift. That's your soul mission that cannot be denied. So when we say, who is the empowered healer? It is the healer who has emerged through the fire to remember who they are, to help others. It is not moving from a space of lack, victimhood, confusion, doubt, scarcity, and blaming, shaming, but rather it is owning and embodying true spiritual power. And how does one get true spiritual power? Through going through everything that they don't want to go through and emerging anew, to face the shadow versus run away, to give in instead of give up, and really truly want to shine. And that's why this is not a path that is, promoted. It's not the path that you see in mainstream spirituality. It's not the New Age path, although the New Age may lead you to this path. It's not a traditional path, although you may start a traditional path, you may be walking a traditional path. It is the path of following that childhood dream. It is the path of not giving up. It is the path of truly owning and recognizing who you are at the core and having the courage to say yes. So, how do you recognize the difference between the ready and the unready? And this is something that I've seen over and over and over again with different students and clients over the years, is people will say, I'm ready. I'm ready. And there's a certain energy to that ready that I can pick up on immediately. and know that this person is really ready or this person is not ready, but saying they're ready. And they can feel it too. We both can feel it. But the difference is, can you really, truly own that you're ready or not ready? So the first thing is an unseen energy. It's an energy of power. When somebody says, I'm ready, and they mean it, there is a power behind the ready. There is a vibration that vibrates out into the atmosphere, and the universe responds and says, yes, this person is ready, ready to go, right? And then there's like, oh, yeah, I'm ready. And it's no power. It's very superficial. It's going to flip flop. It's going to, it's just going to die right there. With that, I'm ready because there's no power. There's no commitment. There's no energy. There's just a flat energy that says, I'm not ready. And that's the thing that people talk about, with the manifestation is, visualize it, think about it, but really be ready. That's the whole thing. Because you can say, oh, I want to win the lottery. But are you ready to win the lottery? Are you ready to step into that type of financial responsibility? Are you ready to step into a whole new life, a whole new everything? Because that's really what the empowered healer has to do. They have to step into a whole new ready. The ready means I am tired and I have walked through patterns of suffering enough times to know I'm sick of this. I don't want to keep playing with my shadow. I don't want to keep living my life through ego. I don't want to keep playing in superficial waters. I am ready to go into ceremony. I am ready to face my spiritual power. I am ready to walk as the power I am. That's what ready is. Unready is not to be shamed or belittled because unready will get you to ready. But you have to first ask yourself, am I truly ready? Because if I'm not ready, I shouldn't say I'm ready and then set myself up for failure. And the truth of it is sometimes you don't know you're ready until the universe pushes you. And then you're ready. you have no choice but to be ready. And it's because the universe knows you're ready, but you're procrastinating or you're just hemming and hawing or you're wasting time. And it's no time to waste, right? And so that's truly the biggest part of walking as an empowered healer is the ready. Are you ready? And when you're ready, you will know it because you will feel it in your bones and you will do whatever it takes. You will do whatever it takes. You will listen to spirit. You will listen to the calling of your heart and your soul, and you will walk. You will just walk. You won't doubt. You won't hem and haw. You won't let anybody dissuade you. You will just walk. And as you're walking, the path will meet you. It will become more narrow and clear, and it will become more fierce with every footstep. So that's the ready part. The next part is why sacred leadership is not optional anymore. And in some ways, this is very clear and obvious through the times we're living in. And I've been saying this for years and years, is that we are going to see things that we have never seen before. Mother Nature is going to do things that we have never seen before. She is going to speak so loud through the waters, through the fires, through the winds, and through the earth. And what does that mean? That means fires, floods, earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricanes, you name it. Mother Nature is awakening. And in this awakening, she is also calling many spirits home. And she's also calling us to get it together. And leadership comes through the unthinkable. We are also going to see so many atrocities and wars and things that we can't even imagine. There are going to be stories, and for the empowered healers, that's why I always emphasize spiritual protection and cleansing, because you just never know. And when you're in alignment with your path, you will be in the right place at the right time. And I have heard that story so many times. I have lived that story so many times, where your spirit will call you somewhere out of the blue. I remember I was working in Japan doing readings and ceremonies, and this woman told me that on 3/11, which is Japan's biggest earthquake and tsunami that hit Tokyo and devastated the lands over there, that she was called to Osaka for just that day. Just that day, her work suddenly said, "Oh, you have to go to Osaka." And she was actually quite mad. She didn't want to go to Osaka. And she was like, "Why would I go to Osaka when, I could be in Tokyo at home?" And that day was 3/11. That was the day that the tsunami and earthquakes hit. And because she was in Osaka, she missed it. And in her building, she would have been hit pretty bad. That's spiritual protection. And some empowered healers will be truly awakened and embodied through devastation, because your soul will rise during this time to lead. And many people in these next few years will have no choice but to rise and lead. And right now, in this 2025 to next year, March, I would say, is a good preparation time. It's a good time to get your ducks in a row, to get what you need done, to get into your practice, to get your spiritual training, to awaken your spiritual ancestors, to really walk the walk, because this will help you to go to the next levels of your leadership. Because if you're listening to this podcast, then that means you are a spiritual leader. That means you are an empowered healer. That means that everything you have walked in and through has led you to this sacred moment where your path is calling you strongly. And it's a calling that no matter what you do, you cannot avoid. You can say, well, it's not the right time, but you'll say that every time. You can say things like, well, it's not for me, but it'll keep calling you because it's your path. Your path doesn't give up on you. Your childhood dream didn't give up on you. It didn't give up on you. You gave up on it. You dismissed it. You didn't empower it. But the thing about that is that the calling just get stronger and stronger. You will make excuses like, I don't have the money, but then go spend all the money on material goods. You will say, oh, well, that's too expensive, but then you'll go buy some silly thing. I've seen it over and over again. I've had many clients who've come to me and said, I don't know why I resisted this ceremony. I don't know why I resisted this session because I spent more money last week at Target or Amazon or whatever, and I got nothing. I just got cleaning supplies or I got, plastic goods. However, when I sat in session or ceremony and I woke in my spirit and I went deeper inside myself, I got a gem that will carry forward for the rest of my life. And I think it's so interesting that, we prioritize things over treasures, over gems. We go shallow rather than go deep. And at this point, there is no more shallow. There are no more crystals to buy. There are no more oils and spiritual goods. No more protection amulets. It's you. It's your vibration. It's the medicine you carry. It's the spirits that walk with you. It's the power of your bones. That's what's going to carry you through this chapter. That's what's going to bring you to divine prosperity. That's what's going to bring you happiness, joy, peace. That's what's going to bring in sacred community. It's you. It's not anything else but you. And the thing about it is that in this sacred time where most of the world is tuned out, most of the world is in survival, you are here to bring people back to who they are. You are here to help humanity stay human. You are here to bring the next 7 generations forward. And it's a harder time than ever before. However, if you're listening to this podcast, you are one of the ones that is chosen for this. And it's something you chose. It's not something someone chose for you. You chose it long before you even knew or remembered. And this is your sacred calling. This is truly your sacred calling, and you can push it off. You can push it aside. You can make excuses, but what's for you will always be for you. And if you've been astray from your path, come back. Just start coming back to your path, coming home to yourself. Like we spoke about in the last podcast, your path is home. And there's nothing that will fill that home. I know for me in my path, I can't even imagine if I hadn't stepped on my path, if I hadn't met my first teacher, if I hadn't dared to go into journey to myself, into ceremony. I don't even know. Because for me, I always knew that once I stepped on this path, there was no going back. That's something I knew from the very, very beginning. And I knew that I could try a million paths, but they'd always go back to this path, that I'd always be a healer. And it could change modalities or ways, or, it evolves. But in the bones of who I am, I come from healers. And that's who I am and have always been and will always be, is someone who's here to help others, to help others remember who they are. And that's who you are. You are someone here to help others remember who they are. And that begins with you remembering who you are. So, if this podcast has stirred your spirit and you know that you are ready to really go deep, then I invite you to go ahead and schedule a one-on-one session or ceremony at my website. And let's see. Let's go deeper. Let's get to the bones of who you are and really begin getting your path to open, to blossom, and to eventually fruit, and to really empower your walk so that as you go forward, you no longer doubt, but you rather own the power of who you are. Walk gently, walk in truth, and may your path be blessed. Until next time, from my altar to yours, Aho.